Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. I'm Jason with Remax.
And I'm Dawn with Remax.
We're on every Sunday, 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. You can find us on Facebook under Stockwell Eldridge Show. You'll also find us on YouTube. We video record all of these by segment, so you can go back and find the information on Facebook for our guests, and also listen to segments of our shows depending upon. And then there's a ton of past shows. This is 2.5 years, so you'll see a ton of past shows on all kinds of topics and all kinds of guests from people all around the Twin Cities. A couple people outside of the state, but mostly everybody from the Twin Cities, either local businesses, charities, or clients, and all kinds of guests. So check that out on YouTube and Facebook. Today we have Rick and Tim here with Lappin Lighting, and Don Doty with Home Place Inspection. We talked about some lighting things that they've done in the past when there was a condo boom. If anybody remembers that, or maybe you had a condo in that time frame or built one in that time frame. Hopefully we'll see not a condo boom, but maybe a condo like thump or something coming up here. With the some of the condos.
There has been some discussions. I think there are. I know that, and unfortunately, he just passed away. Mr. Stanton has done some condo development, and it was resuming in that. I think that Bob Lux, who has been a significant developer in Minneapolis, has been looking at doing some further condo development. And from a standpoint, selfishly, as a showroom, we would be more interested in condos than apartments.
I think it'd be good for downtown to get more condos down there, too.
Yeah, the apartment living seems on a sociological basis not to lend itself as easily to families as condos might or a townhome might. And families, would be a nice concept to continue to develop in the North Loop as well as the other areas of downtown to make it a fuller community. The city, from our perspective, has put a lot of emphasis on getting density and people to move into the North Loop and areas surrounding where the new U.S. Bank Stadium is, and we're almost becoming a city within a city, which means you would want more green spaces and you would want a variety of types of living, whether it's a lot of these apartments are very small, so they weren't really conducive to families coming downtown, but there seems to be more consideration for that aspect of development right now.
Yeah, and I think the legislature I read in the Business Journal, I think it was, they're trying to lobby, the developers are, to get the 10-year, to put some limitations on the warranty, the statute of the warranty for condos, because that's the biggest deterrent, according to Bob Lux and probably other developers, for Minneapolis and specifically, or for Minnesota, for building condos, is because the statute is so heavily weighted towards it seems like the association, and they can come back 9.5 years later, 10 years later, and file a massive lawsuit for millions of dollars, and 10 years down the road. And a lot of the condo developers say that's a big hindrance on not only them doing it or wanting to do it, but also them being able to get proper financing to be able to put up, $100 million, $150 million building where you're getting, or more. I don't know it could be more than that even for some of these condo buildings. So that risk, the lenders won't put money up for those because of that. So I think they said the legislature proposed something, and I think Dayton was on board with it, or something that might change to tweak it a little bit to make it so that they can ease a little bit of that for the condo developers. But I know Bob's pushing that one. I think they're in a lawsuit right now, still with the neighborhood, on the number of stories from 30 to 40.
Oh, is that the one over by the funeral home?
Yeah.
I see nobody has stowed the funeral home away.
No, that was, again, that's one of those deals. It was 2 years ago or something that was supposed to start a year ago, then another. I mean,
it's right near the Lunds. That's at the bottom of the Cobalt development.
Over there.
Washburn, McGrary Funeral Home. Yeah.
Yeah, right across the river from the stadium, and it's a beautiful site. I mean, you'd have downtown, you'd have the stadium, you have the river, and they wanted 30 stories. The city approved 40, and then the last article said that the lawsuit was basically put to bed, and they were able to move forward. Well, then they put up a bunch of money to file an appeal. The neighborhood group did. So we'll see how that plays out. But I know the agent that's working on that with Sotheby's, they've got line of people already ready to. I mean, there's such a pent up demand for brand new condos in the downtown area, and a lot of them are people moving from the suburbs that have empty nesters that have a bigger house that want to be downtown central, and they want to be walkable. They don't want to be driving. They don't need a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot house anymore. Those are a lot of the buyers for it. So,
well, and one of the elements that seems to be missing or not apparent right now is when we had the condo loft townhouse development in the early 2000s, it seemed that a portion of this were people interested in flipping.
oh yeah,
They really weren't interested.
it was crazy. It was nuts.
I don't
You
think
could
they
buy
were,
it and sell it a month or
they
6
weren't
months later.
interested in living. Weren't interested in living
Yeah.
in it, and that's one of the factors. I'm not an economist. I think contributed to the downfall.
Oh,
at that time.
my friend at that time was in line in Denver. I graduated college with him. He's my roommate in college, and he's in Denver. They're doing an opening for a condo building. It hasn't even started yet, and they have a line that starts. So they have to reserve units. As you go further in the line, it's the same day, right? Keep in mind this is like hours away or minutes even sometimes behind the person in front of you. The prices are going up as you go for the same stuff. I mean, it was that great. So if you were 100th in line versus 5th in line, you could be paying tens of thousands more for the same exact floor, unit, whatever, just because of the demand. And that's exactly what they were doing. So many people were buying them. He wasn't. He was going to live there. But a lot of people were just buying them to get in because they knew when that building went up, they'd be able to sell it and make $100,000 or whatever they could right away just by having the condo. So I don't think, so we're not having that. We shouldn't have that problem going forward. I don't think so. A lot of people got burned in that scenario. But
well, I remember some of the apartment buildings that were being converted to condos and the poor job that was being done.
Oh, the workmanship?
Those condo conversions.
Yeah.
It was before the city of Minneapolis really put in you have to re-insulate for sound and all of that. And
Windows.
wow, it was crazy.
So basically, they probably went in, put new countertops and cabinets in, and then repainted, and then said, "Here you go. Now it's a condo."
One of my first sales was a condo from a certain entity that is no longer. And as we're walking through, it was raining out. There's rain pouring through the roof into the hallway. And I looked at my client and I go, "We should not be closing on this." "Oh no, they'll take care of it. It's no big deal." And we,
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, "Oh my gosh!" I was completely freaked out. And
Wow.
I kept saying we should not be closing. That should be fixed before. Nope, I don't have anywhere to go. I'm moving in.
Well,
And that building ended up going into foreclosure. The whole building ended up in
Shocking.
foreclosure.
Wow.
I know. And the
That's-
association sued the entity that had created the condos. And the balconies were falling off the back.
wow,
It was
crazy.
very, very crazy. Yeah.
So Tim and Rick.
We still have to talk about LED lighting.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that in our next segment.
Well, I was curious too, as an intro, and what does it stand for? What does LED stand for?
Light emitting diode.
Light emitting diode. I learned something today, folks. You probably learned it too. Light emitting diode is LED, and is it something that I don't think I have any LED? Well, maybe I do. I don't know. You can buy individual LED bulbs, or this
Yes.
LED the
I
way
bought
it's
them.
hooked up inside the like your wiring in your house?
The light emitting diode is you can buy an LED bulb, or you can buy fixtures that are inherently LED, and these have light emitting diodes within them. It's unless
Look at
you see
Jason's
it,
eyes.
Yeah.
it's hard to explain unless you see it, but it's not a bulb. Okay, it's like a little module. It's like a little diode, and it is, for the first time versus other aspects of the home furnishings industry, whether furniture or floor coverings, it is revolutionizing lighting, where lighting has tended to follow trends in terms of looks, styles, things like that. This has been, I've been in the overall business since 1972. And this is the first time I've encountered what I would call a game-changing event.
I want to find out why it's game changing. What what about LED light emitting diodes is game changing? Because I see a lot of houses and a lot of them have it, and I don't, and some of them don't. But I want to get back into that when we get back. Stay tuned, folks.